Have you tried to crochet with your non-dominant hand, or the opposite way that you normally crochet? I decided to give it a try, and here we are seeing how that went. Of course, it's not necessary to do that, but there were 3 reasons why I wanted to do that. One reason was that I thought that if I try it that way, it would make it easier for me to understand how hard it can be for someone to learn to crochet as an adult if you never did it when you were a child. I learned to crochet as a small child, so I have grown up with crochet, but lots of people have not. Another reason was that I thought it would be good to do that in case I would sometimes need to teach a left-handed person to crochet. I know that many people who are left-handed have actually learned to crochet right-handed simply because there wasn't anything or anybody who would have taught them the other way. So I thought maybe if I try, I could at least learn a little bit. And the third reason was a bit different. They say that it's very good for your brain to do something that's complicated and requires problem solving and thinking and learning something new. So this was certainly something like that. Some of the bits of this video have actually been filmed about a month ago. So I did a little bit here and then I waited a week and then again, because it turned out to be much harder than I thought. At first I thought that I'll just set the camera up and start filming myself trying it. Then I very quickly realized I couldn't even chain. I couldn't work out how I would chain. So there's no way anybody would be watching that if I'm trying to chain for half an hour. So I realized I had to practice a bit first. Try it yourself. It can be amazingly difficult. Even for instance, when I put my hook on my left hand, something I thought that when I'm learning it, I'm definitely not going to crochet in a different way than normal. When I crochet, I have a tight pen grip and my left hand fingers are all close together. So I wasn't going to do anything differently than I normally do to make it even more difficult. But what was hard even at first when I started, I was sort of thinking, what way am I holding the hook? Where does the hook point? Upwards, backwards, towards me, and so on. So what I was doing at first was I had 2 yarns and 2 hooks, and I kept switching from one to another, trying to see how I chain and then looking at how it went. That really was super slow, so I thought I have to try something a little bit more. And then I remember that some people have said that when you are teaching somebody left-handed to crochet, that you could sit opposite each other and then you would see how it goes. So I thought maybe a mirror would do us the same. And here I'm trying it out with a mirror in front of me. But that doesn't work. And I think it would be hard also if somebody was sitting opposite you, because you don't see it, the way you see it from your eyes directly. Instead you see it from opposite like that, so sort of a back of the hand. So that didn't help at all. Trying all this, I learned a little bit. For instance, I learned how I would hold my hook, where exactly the yarn was, and so on. And if you've seen my other videos, I would stress the fact that you do not twist the hook back and forth, just so that over the many years that you crochet, it's not an unnecessary movement. So I learned that my hook needs to be pointing towards me and staying in that position even when I move it. So I learned a little bit, but not much, and nowhere near so that I could actually crochet some items. And because I'm sort of very visual, normally if I need to learn something more in crochet, I would always look for a video. I find it too slow to look at photo tutorials, and especially if it's a written instruction. So I decided that I have to see how I crochet, but the opposite way. So I ended up filming myself just crocheting very basic, a chain, a single crochet, turning and double crochet. And then I took that video and put it into my editing program and flipped it round and slowed it down a lot. So this was something that did help me to do it. And I would suggest that if you need to do that for some reason, that's something you can do. You don't need a fancy editing program. You can do it on your phone and use U-cut or CapCut or something like that to flip it and slow it down. And then set that in front of you. I had mine on a laptop in front of me so I could see what I was doing. So with that, I learned enough so that I can sort of do it a little bit, but definitely not so that I would start crocheting any actual project this way. After decades of crochet, it's just too difficult to try to see it the other way around. Have you ever tried, or are you one of those who have had to learn the other way? So you might be left-handed, but you have had to learn it right-handed. This was just a sort of a one-off trial, but I'm glad I did it. It was interesting and I learned a lot. So it was definitely worth doing it.